All right, what's up? It's Gokuma. Welcome to the channel. And tonight, gonna be playing a little bit more of Silent Hill 2. I think I'm going to finish working on the outside area so we get to like the museum, maybe complete the museum, and then probably call it a night. It kind of depends how long all that takes, because I don't want to go to bed too late tonight because tomorrow morning is the PlayStation State of Play. Well, for me, it's in the fucking morning. So for me, that shit is at like 7 in the morning. So yeah, good times. Which is really unfortunate. Uh and it's always the case. Like they don't ever change the fucking time at all. Like, they're not like, "Oh, hey, like let's give the Japanese consumer, let's give them a boon. Like let's have this at a time where they can watch it at a decent time." Nah, bitch. We know where we get our most of our sales from, and it's from America, or from at, at the very least, from the Western countries. Not so much here. Which, don't get me wrong, like they do get lots of sales here, but it's really weird. It's like only like certain games, franchises and stuff like sell like really stupid good here, as well as like other countries. But there's a lot of games. There's a lot of other games in the series that sell way better at in Western countries. um I kind of had like, um I wouldn't say like an argument, but like, there were people, and I assume like they were, not assume, but I'm pretty sure they were Japanese. And of course, like they were defending the fact that it's like, no, like um like we buy lots of games, and we're like one of the top people, like, per capita. And it's like, sometimes I feel like when you have to say per capita, it's like, no. It's like the country either makes a lot of sales or it doesn't. And I remember going to, I took, so CyberConnect 2 is a studio that's in Fukuoka, which I don't live that far from, like only like a few hours away. Um and I once toured there, and they were talking about how, like, like they were interested, not me, because I don't have any talents that they're particularly looking for, but that they were interested in hiring, like Westerners and such, because they want to um do things to like try to like appeal more to them. And um or not, well, not so much more to appeal to them, but like they know, like for Westerners, like some of the stuff that they do is appealing to them as well. So like they were talking about, like, their sales numbers, and it's like they've had games. And if you know CyberConnect 2, like they're the company that makes like the Naruto games. They've made like Asura's Wrath, the Dot Hack games, if I'm not mistaken. Was it them? May not be them. I could be thinking of someone else. Think I'm thinking of I don't know. But they made a lot of games, and then they kind of showed like their sales figures, and they showed that like, um like a lot of their games like barely crack like a million in Japan. Um, like if that, like actually no, I think it might be a lot less. It might be yeah, it might be like a lot less than a million. But yeah, either way, like it doesn't even crack a million, and other countries like it fucking goes into like the millions of like copies that they sell of a game. And and the thing is, like, it's not just that studio, it's like it's a lot of companies, it's a lot of studios, unless like you're a major studio, and even then, um like you still might not like you might still do good in Japan, but you might not like hit it big and stuff. And the funny thing is, like, I think there was one person who was like Japanese who was like kind of arguing like against me, but at the same time he was like he was making like my point, because at some point, like, yeah, like in Japan a lot of people were buying games, but then we get to um around like the PS3 era, and all of a sudden, like, that shit stopped. And you know uh, like I would have to assume that like something must have like shifted in Japan at that time. Like maybe that was when like people started working way more than they did, um than they were before, or something. um and they started adopting handhelds more, though. And handhelds were like doing good for a while, and the Switch does amazing here. And that's because like these are systems that they can take with them on the go, when they have to take the long bus rides or the long train rides, or when they have like time to kill, like in between whatever. They don't have time. For some people, maybe they don't even have the space to like go home and play video games on a console, on a TV. And so being here now and talking to people about games, of course, kids, like, so many kids, they play video games here for sure. um but they only play, like, for the most part, there's like only certain franchises that like you'll always hear them say that they play. It'll be Fortnite, Apex, Minecraft, Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, get some mention here and there. um Splatoon. Notice how it's a lot of Nintendo games. Animal Crossing, Pokemon. And then from time to time, I'll get a kid that says Biohazard. I'll get a kid that says Dragon Quest. I'll get a kid that says Street Fighter, or get a kid that says Monster Hunter. But the other games that I mentioned, those are the games that like you will hear like most kids say. You And then you talk to adults, and like their gaming lives are like dead. Like maybe at one point they played video games. Maybe they played video games growing up. Maybe they played video games when they were younger. But then going, like into adulthood, going into their career, going into relationship and marriage and kids, and like, nah, their gaming is dead. It is fucking dead. It is never coming back. It is gone for life. And a lot of that's because there's not very good work life balance in Japan. There just isn't. And I see that fucking clearly when when I'm in those offices. When I see my coworkers, when I happen to talk to my coworkers, like there's not really much of a work life balance that they have. um Um, so so yeah, like, so even though the person like arguing against me was like, he was like, oh, well, have you considered Asian population and blah 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 blah, and it's like, well, that's the point. Like, you just made the point for me. Like, you're saying like, because of this and this, Japan doesn't get much, as much game sales as necessary. Like, the person trying to make it like, oh, well, they make it for Japan, and then getting sales everywhere else is just a bonus, and it's like, no, it's not. They, if they were to sell games exclusively, like in Japan, like back in the day, like, you had lots of games that just came out in Japan and sold great in Japan. You can't do that now. And not only that, like, you would be leaving, even if a game came out and it made a ton of profit, like in Japan, you would just be leaving so much money, like, on the table for not releasing it in other countries. So yeah, I mean, that's why, like, in Sony's case, that's why, like, every fucking time that they have a state of play, over here in Japan, like, we don't get to watch it at a decent time. Like, it's gonna be on at like 6 or 7 in the morning. Like, that's as decent as we can get. Like, maybe, if you're a kid, like, maybe you'll be able to watch it before you have to go to school, or most of it. Maybe if you work like me, I'll be able to get to watch like most of it, but like while I'm getting ready for work, and I got to be on my way to work while this shit is still going on. And with Nintendo for Japan, they'll show it at like 10 or 11 at night. But to me, like, that's not too bad. And usually their directs are like, like around 30 minutes, like 20, 30 minutes. On rare occasions it'll be more than that, but usually they're only like 20 or 30 minutes. So having to stay up to like, you know 10:30 or 11:30, like, isn't really too bad. I can go watch it and then like fuck off and go to bed. um and and for the West, like, they get that shit in the morning. By the time they get it in the morning, like, dude, they're already at work or school. Over in the East Coast, if you're over in the West Coast, like, dude, that's like, you're probably getting up like for work or school. um and Nintendo does it like that because, like, they are just like Sony. Like, yeah, they are a Japanese company, and 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 they put, the Japanese consumer, like, first, but also they do extremely well in Japan. Extremely well. Switch 2s are selling like crazy here. A lot of their games are selling like crazy. It was the same with the Switch 1 here. Like, so many people, well, mostly children, have have a Switch. And there are adults, grown ass adults here that have the Switch. In fact, the girl that I liked, emphasis on liked, emphasis on the past tense of that. She has, she has a Switch, and she started playing, um funny enough, as an adult. But she plays. But I'm gonna assume that, like, at some point she's gonna not play as much. At some point she's gonna, like, end up in a relationship that's not me, get married to someone that's not me, have kids with someone, which, well, to be fair, I'm not too wild on the idea of having kids. So, you know, kind of dodged a bullet with that. But other than that, yeah, it's just she's gonna end up, like being like so many other people, like once they're in once again to like a relationship and get married and have kids, like there goes the gaming. So, um, but yeah, so we have the PlayStation State of Play. I'm gonna try to catch whatever I can of it in the morning. It's an hour long. It's an hour long. I don't know like what the fuck it's gonna have. Um, like in it exactly. We can make our guesses, but I don't know. I just hope that there's like some cool shit and cool content that we see like for the future. Um, this this could set the tone for like the year. Like there's a possibility we'll get like some new announcements. If because I think the last State of Play, if I'm not mistaken, I think there was like some stuff that like was already announced that we didn't get to see more of, and then we saw more stuff that was announced already, and there really wasn't too much in the way of like anything new, which is fine. I know a lot of people complain about that, but it's like, dude, they're not always going to show new shit. They're going to, because there's a pattern to this. There's always been a pattern where they will have where a company will have a direct or state of play or showcase spotlight, I don't know, whatever the fuck they want to call it, where where they will announce a bunch of new stuff, and then we'll get like the next thing from them, and and now we'll see like trailers or get more information or get something from all the things that were announced previously. And then that might happen again for the next one. It's just, and then after a couple of those, then we get the thing that's like, okay, here's a bunch of new games coming out. That's just how that works. It's not, we're not going to get like wall to wall, like brand new fucking announcements and shit, like every single time we have these. We'll get some new announcements. The next thing we'll get like a more expanded trailer or something, or some gameplay or new information or something. That's how these things have always worked. So knowing that, it doesn't really bother me whenever we get like one of these and it's just like, okay, you're just showing us stuff that like we knew existed before, but now we got like a new trailer or more information or something. Yeah, that's just how these things go. But so yeah, I'm thinking that this could be one of those. It could go either way. It could be one of those state of plays where everything that was announced previously that has not released yet we'll just get more of. Probably not everything, because I think there's certain, like, I think games that we saw last time may or may not make a return in this one. Um, Case in point, the Returnal sequel, Saros, I think it's called. We saw like I think a lengthy like trailer for it, so we may not see that in this state of play. Um, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying we may not see it. That one game, Tides of Annihilation, like we got like a lengthy demo, like gameplay demo on that, and I don't think we'll get anything more out of that. unless it's going to come out soon, and maybe we'll get like a trailer to like remind us like, hey, this shit's coming out like next month or some shit. Buy it. So that might happen. um but if it's games that are like far off, like probably not. We didn't get anything new about Wolverine or Marvel Tokon last time they had one of these. So there's a chance that possibly we might get more information on those games. Or we may not. They might wait closer to E3 because my God, I swear, like fucking E3 is like fucking coded into my goddamn brain. Like I like I've lived long enough that E3 was like a fucking staple like in my life, like growing up and then even going well into fucking adulthood. And it's like even though there is no E3, it's that's still the code for like whatever the fuck we have going on in the summer now. So anyways, so they might wait closer to Summer Game Fest to announce like more info or something. I don't know. I don't know how their marketing is going to um how they're going to play this out. I Who the fuck knows. But there could potentially be like just a little bit more information on both those games because we didn't get to see them last time at all. So maybe this time around we'll get something more about Wolverine. I don't know what we'll get. I feel like the last time they showed off Wolverine was like gameplay and stuff. Um, you know, they might show other things. Um, but I don't know. I don't know what we'll get. Like maybe they'll show like more villains or something. I don't know. Marvel Tokon, on the other hand, like there's stuff that they can definitely show, like more characters. Marvel Tokon was announced, I think, in over the summer last year, like maybe June, if I'm not mistaken. And we have not they announced 8 characters so far for that game. And there's also another thing I have to talk about with that game. But first, they announced 8 characters for that game. And there has not been any additional characters since. The only things that we've seen new since then is levels. That that's it. As far as I know, that's it. It's just stages. A couple of them. We got the Savage Land and we got the X Mansion. And that's it. No word on any other characters. As I say this though, apparently it's been kind of leaked through the Steam page that when the game does release, it will have 20 characters upon launch. And this this is and has kind of raised the stink with people. Because they feel like 20 characters is too small, especially for like a 4v4 fighting game. Um, first off, first and foremost, I look at this as a fighting game in general. I don't think about like, oh, it's a 3v3, it's a 4v4. It's like this is just it's a specifically I look at it as a 2D fighter. And traditionally 2D fighters, normally like their base roster is not that huge. Like to be completely honest, I feel like 20 is about the average for a 2D fighter. And it's been like that for a really 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 long time. Like that's kind of pretty much always been the case. I mean, shit, like there were games that had like way less characters starting out. I think I remember like Blaze Blue when that first came out. Like I think it had like way less characters, but that game was fucking great, you know. And then of course, like, you know, they made subsequent like sequels or updates or versions or whatever the fuck. You know, that added more characters. So, you know, for 2D fighter, to be completely honest, like 20 characters is not bad. It's actually not bad at all. Would it have been nice to get more than that? Of course, yeah, totally. But I think if you expect more than 20, I think that's the line where, like, okay, you might be expecting a bit too much. You might be expecting a bit too much. If you think you're gonna get like more than 20 characters in a 2D fighter that is making its debut. Um, you know, go ahead, look at like a lot of the other 2D fighters that have come out even the last like few years or several years. Like they did they all had about like 20, some a little less, some a little more when they came out. I think Street Fighter 6 has like around 20 also, maybe a little bit more, but not much more. Maybe they might have, I think Street Fighter 6 might have had 24 characters when that dropped. Um the new Fatal Fury, when that dropped, that game didn't even have 20 characters. I think it had like 19 characters. Dragon Ball Fighters, when that came out initially, it had um it had 24 characters. And keep in mind, like a few of those characters are like other characters with different hair colors. So um you know, I mean, like how many like fucking versions of Goku is in that game? Or Vegeta? So um yeah, so 20 is about the norm. And other people will bring up the MVC series, right? But they only bring up, you know, MVC2 and up. They don't talk about like the you know, the previous games. So let's talk about the previous games. Um, you know, X-Men vs Street Fighter, you know, which was a 2v2 game, um had like 17 characters in that game. So you had so it was like less than 20. And none of us bitched about that. And to add, like, just because these games come out like now, like 20 years later, like it does not automatically mean like, oh, we should be getting more characters. Like, no, that's not what that means. You know, it's before I get into that, um let's you know, let's talk about the rest of the games. You know, Marvel Super vs Street Fighter, I think it was about the same number. I don't recall for sure, but I'm pretty sure it's like it was like probably around the same number. Like it probably wasn't even 20 characters. And if it was, it might have been because of some of the secret characters that were in that game that may have pushed it to 20 or so. But like I don't count those characters because those characters are like versions of of other characters that just have different traits. Like they're just variants is what they are. Same thing with the secret characters in Marvel vs. Capcom, which is like honestly like my favorite Marvel vs. Capcom. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I like Marvel vs. Capcom 1 more than Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but I have my reasons why. But that game, like same thing. Like that game I think has like 50, like 15 15 or 16 characters. You know, we could count Roll as a character because she's her own, she's a secret character, but she's like at least like her own character. You know, unlike some of the other characters, like, you know, like, I don't know, you have like a fucking orange or red Venom. You know, you have an orange Hulk for some whack ass reason. Um, you know, like, you know, you have a Shadow that plays differently, but it's a Chun-Li as well. Um, so it's like these are hardly like, you know, additional characters. But yeah, I mean, Mars Capcom 1, let's say, like, yeah, it has like 16 characters in that game. Um and again, like, no one bitched about this at all. Um so then the point of contention was started with Marvel's Capcom 2, where some fucking dumbass was like, "Oh, why can't they release a lot of characters like Marvel's Capcom 2?" Like, this is one of the most brain dead arguments like you could fucking make about this subject. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 might as well be called Marvel's Capcom 2 New Age of fucking asset dumping. Because that's what Marvel's Capcom 2 was. Marvel's Capcom 2 was a fucking asset dump up the ass. The vast majority of those characters, like almost all the characters, were all characters that have showed up in other games, including the, you know, the versus games leading up to that point. So they put like every character. So first off, they put every character that has shown up in any of these versus games, from X-Men vs Street Fighter to Marvel Superheroes vs Street Fighter to Marvel vs Capcom. So if they were in any of those, they're in Marvel vs Capcom 2. Hold on. For some reason, I got a message from one of my. Why is she telling me go? Go where? Where am I going? Oh, opinion on the Wolverine movie. Okay, so she asked me my opinion on the Wolverine movie. And I'm like, it's all right. Lots of good scenes and some good story, but action scenes suck. They kind of do. Because, like, you have a Wolverine who can't be a Wolverine. And he's mostly, like, running away a lot. And some action scenes are, like, very, like, anticlimactic. Um, and, you know, and then it's like, even when it's like, you know, he does get his healing powers back. You know, he does have like that cool sequence with that one dude. Um, But you knew like that dude wasn't gonna have a chance to beat him. But still, it's like it's a cool scene in general. And then like he gets to the part where he's like, I don't know, he gets in that like village with hold on. Um and then he gets to that village with like the ninjas, right? And you think going into this scene, like now that he has his healing powers back and he's been um hold on. Um, but yeah, like after spending the movie without his healing powers and like I don't know, practically being like a little bitch, in the action sequences, like you think he's gonna go into this fucking ninja village and like just fucking rampage. Like we want to fucking see him. Like we want to fucking, this is what we've been waiting for. And it was like, no, no. There's absolutely like zero rampaging from like Wolverine. Um, which is like nuts to fucking say. Um, but he's kind of been like for the most part, Wolverine's been kind of like that. There's been very few scenes leading up to Logan where he's just like fucking just going on like a fucking tear. And even with Logan, like I think there was like one cool scene that where it's like, oh, like, we get to finally see like the Wolverine be unleashed in a fucking action sequence. And yeah, it's like I didn't feel that until we got Logan, to be completely honest. And then we got it again when he made like a cameo appearance in X-Men Apocalypse. Like he made a cameo appearance, and that was still like the closest we got to like him just going fucking berserk. um and then that's also like one of the reasons why like I enjoy like Deadpool and Wolverine, is because like we see Wolverine like fucking be Wolverine, like when he like when he fucking fights, like we get like, yeah, yeah, it's just it's just fucking great to see. Despite the fact that in all objectivity, Deadpool and Wolverine is not the strongest or the best in the Deadpool movies, and kind of does things that I'm like, I'm kind of against happening in, especially like in superhero movies. But I won't ignore the fact that it's still a fun watch. It's a really fun watch. It's just a very flawed movie. It's actually a very, very flawed movie, but it does so much good to it, be a fun movie, to be an enjoyable watch and everything. But I do not ignore the fact that it is a highly flawed movie. Um but it's not a bad movie. It's not the worst movie. It might be, objectively speaking, the worst Deadpool movie. Not that it means it's a bad movie, but it might be like the worst Deadpool movie. Because I feel like Deadpool 1 and even 2 like were a little bit more personal, than Deadpool and Wolverine was. Um, anyways, back to what I was talking about before. So yeah, so I was saying with Marvel's Capcom 2, we dumped all the characters that showed up in the previous versus games, And then we dumped more characters from the Street Fighter Alpha games. We dumped characters from Darkstalkers. And then, we did make new sprites. We did have a bunch of new characters. I think, Hayato from Plasma Sword comes to mind. Jill, Cable, um, Ruby Heart, Cactus Guy, Son. I think Cactus Guy, I think his name was Amingo or something. I don't know. Anyways, maybe we got other new characters, but that were new sprites, but those are the only ones I could think of. But yeah, so that game is not the best example. And then you're like, okay, well, what about Marvel's Capcom 3? That also was an asset dump, kinda. Um, because I think a lot of people forget about Tatsunoko versus Capcom, that was a thing, and a lot of characters that were in, or a few characters that were in Tatsunoko versus Capcom show up in Marvel's Capcom 3. Like Ryu, Morgan, and Beautiful Joe come to mind. I know that there's others, but I can't think right now. What the others? Oh, Frank West was in it. But there were other characters that were in it that didn't show up, like Batsu is in it. He didn't show up. Alex is in it. Like he didn't show up in Marvel's Capcom 3. But yeah, so you already had like a few characters for them to like, like rip from. And a lot of them like have the same moves and they play the same and stuff. Maybe they changed a little, like a few things, but they still mostly the same characters. But also Capcom is a much bigger company and they can, like have multiple teams and studios like on this shit as well. So again, that's not really the best argument to make. Uh, so then, we get to Marvel Tokon, and as far as Marvel Tokon goes, like this game was made by Arxis, which is a much, even though they've been making quite a few fighting games like over the years. Guilty Gear Strive comes to mind, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Dragon Ball Fighters, and now we're about to have Marvel Tokon. And um but they're not like the biggest company, like they're not Capcom. They're a much smaller company. This is a brand new fucking game that they have to like make and animate from scratch. And the thing is, again, because like people think, because now technology is so fucking advanced, that they think that like, oh, like we should easily have more fucking characters and shit, right? No, bitch, because now shit is so advanced, it takes more time to make these characters, because we want to make these characters look like they are from 2026, not ripped sprites from fucking 1995. And I think that's what these people do not get, is that they have to put more effort into how they look. They have to put more effort in how they move, how they animate, and in effects and whatever, because now like things are so much more advanced. Now there's like more fucking fidelity going on. And with that, there is more work that they have to now do for each character that they make. So with that being said, despite the fact that X-Men vs. Street Fighter, the first crossover game, the first 2D crossover game, had 17 characters when that came out, and shit has not changed since then. Also, another argument for Marvel's Capcom 3's case is that those games used 3D models, which are a lot easier to make than 2D models. You know, even though the 2D models nowadays are actually 3D models, but you know, they're more animated and stuff, and that takes time to make. Um, you know, 3D models are a lot easier to make. That's why, like, whenever a 3D fighter comes out, like, they can have like a billion characters because 3D model, you know, they're a bit more easier to make. But yeah, but my point is that um, you know, going back from X-Men vs Street Fighter, that, you know, the first 2D tag fighter, which had 17 characters, it does not surprise me 20 years later that the average for 2D fighters in general is still about 20 characters. Like, we're not going to get more just because technology's advanced. Like, no, it just means those 20 characters are supposed to look way better than they did 20 years ago. So, yeah, that's what I feel about it. And god damn it, of course, like, I fucking like talk way too goddamn much. So, anyways, all right. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use the restroom, and I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna play some Silent Hill 2. I might not play as much as I thought I was gonna play, but I don't know. I just had a lot of stuff to say about gaming lately. Um. So yeah. All right. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Let me get shit situated. I also have to warn that while I'm playing, there is a chance the stream might cut off and go into hibernation mode because for some reason that's what's been happening to my fucking laptop lately. It's so far it's only been happening like when I've been playing this, like the whole time when I was, because it could be maybe like the PS2 emulator, like just I don't know, is a bit much for the computer or something, and it runs like a little hot, maybe. I don't know. I'm even using a fan on it, so I don't know. Laptop could be going bad. It's the computer, the PC laptop thing is I don't know, it's about like a little over 4 years old or so. So, and up to this point, I've not had any problems at all with it. So it could be about time that, well, it gives me problems. Um, but yeah, it's so far for the most part, it's only been happening while I'm playing this game. It's the first time I've used this newest version of this PS2 emulator for it. When I streamed last week for the direct, where I was streaming the direct, I was playing Mega Man. I didn't have like any problems or issues. There was one time where like I was watching the Super Bowl, and my computer went into hibernation mode. But other than that, it's never happened outside of playing this. So, anyways, get shit hooked up and ready. All right, let me bring up a guide real quick. Okay. So I'm hoping like it doesn't take too long to get to where we need to go and then to complete the next area we're gonna be at. But who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows? Oops. Shit. That was me. I accidentally hit some on my TV. It doesn't screen, but control the volume of my TV. Wait, did that knock out my sound? Yep, I think that knocked out my sound. What the fuck? I don't get why that happens. All right, let me see what happens if I just reload the emulator. Like, I don't know, had something to do, I think. I don't know. Who the fuck knows? Fucking technology, man. Okay, it works. Alright, I think I just have to restart the emulator whenever the sound gets knocked out. Alright, so we gotta go up north from Lindsay Street to... Okay. Alright, to Cat Street. Oh yeah, because that's blocked off, so I have to run through Cat Street. I'm pretty sure this area was in the first Silent Hill, right? I don't remember, even though I just fucking played it. I don't fucking remember. Anywho. Um... Okay, so when I get to that intersection, there should be rifle shells and handgun bullets. All right. All right, and then there's supposed to be. Okay, there's supposed to be handgun bullets around here. In one of these corners. Something, but camera angles kind of suck, so I can't fucking. To be what wants to kill me. I just hear fucking noises. Alright, whatever wants to kill me, can you like come out of the shadows so I can fucking kill you? Oh, okay, there you are. Thank you. Thank you for your kindness. And the thing is, it's completely unnecessary for me to kill these guys. Like, I'm literally just wasting ammo. Like, I should just be running past them, but I don't know. I just have, like, a fucking thing where, like, I have to kill all of you. All of you must die. Like, if I have fucking ammo, you all must die. And then if I don't have fucking ammo, you must die. Like, you have not seen when I fucking play, like, Resident Evil Code Veronica, like, in that game, for, like, you know, like, a small part of the game, like, you don't get, like, crazy amounts of ammo, and you can't kill, like, everything, like, initially. So, like, I will sit there with a fucking knife. And mind you, like, I'm not cheating. Well, at like with these games. Like, I damn, this fucking wire like is keeps turning off my mic. But yeah, mind you that, like, cuz I'm streaming from, I think when I played Code Veronica, it was off of the Xbox. Like, it was the Xbox version. And so I can't cheat. I can't cheat. But like, I would fucking sit there and like fucking knife the motherfuckers. Because it's like, bitch, you need to die. You need to die. You go to hell. You go to hell and you die. So yeah, I don't know. I just, they have to die. It's just how it is. I don't make the rules. Let's take a look at the map. So, am I supposed to go to Woodside apartment? I'm sure if I was playing on a harder difficulty, they'd be more of a challenge. Like, they wouldn't like fucking just fall on the first shot. The door that wakes in darkness, opening into nightmares. Oh, all right. Well, that sounds promising. Now that I'm here, what am I supposed to do? You was from the gate to Munson Street. Fucking cameras in these games. Okay, it's not here. Guess it's another set of stairs. Okay, it's these set of stairs. Keep hitting the wrong button. Okay, so I have to head up Munson Street. Um, awesome. There's a drink in the little road above Blue Creek and handgun bullets at the right side. So, at where? Okay. Oh shit. Went the wrong way. God damn it. I got all turned around and shit. Alright, am I going the right way this time? Yeah, yeah. I don't know why it was like taking him a half hour to like aim and shoot. Checks. Actually, no. Huh. That's weird. I don't know. I think the infinite ammo code is like, it feels random when it works. It's like not every shot will be infinite. Like, or something. It's more like some shot will be infinite. Some no. It's just completely random. At least it's not foggy as fuck. Like, it's dark, but it's not foggy. Yeah, keep hitting the wrong button. I think we just have to go to Rosewater Park. Hey, camera. Right here. Oh wait, here we go. I think this is what I'm looking for. Alright, got a motherfucker to ban. Victim of persecution by the blank Jenny blank Carol lived with pride and honor. What happened here should never be forgotten. Okay. Oh, excuse me, something here. Of course we will do, because what can go wrong? Ah, okay. I think we have something for that. So now we got a key. So then, what do we do with the key? Okay, it says here, on the west ledge, on the way to the waterfront, and 2 packs at the northwest corner, the east section of the park. I don't think I care. Is anything, you know, here? It's a pretty far run. But also there's like shotgun shells, like if I go back to around where we found that corpse last time. Where am I now? Okay. Not far from the place, but still a little ways to go. Yeah, see, like, I know I wasted 8 shots just now. But if I shoot again... Oh, what? I don't know what the fuck happened there. You know what? Let me not bother reloading. Let me just... Yeah, I don't get that. Oh shit, I did not mean to do that. Fuck. I was trying to exit out. Once I made it to the place... Still the same map as before. Yeah, it is. I like how after running for a bit, he does slow down. I think I read that if you play it on harder difficulties, it's worse. No, I don't know. I think it's been using my bullets. I don't know. Who the fuck knows? I'm just gonna... Let me do this. Yeah, no, it's using my bullets. So yeah, no, I don't have infinite bullets. I don't know what's going on. check this stuff out. Let me... No. Is there a map or anything around here? There might not be a map. Don Smith? Oh, hey, it's our buddy. Keep fucking skipping shit. Alright. Response to Great Plague. Yeah, this looks like something, but it's not doing anything. Alright, so yeah, are we sure that's not something? No, I guess not. Before I go down here, let me make sure like I did not miss anything. Yeah, it's a real long call. Is this the game's way of fucking with you, or its way of loading the next area? And then the game's making weird-ass noises to try to freak you out. But the noises usually mean nothing. It's 1820. Is this something on the desk? No? Okay. gonna go there later. In fact, that might be the next place we go to. Death by skewering. Okay. There's a big hole. Is there anything around this hole? No. Of course we'll jump down the dark hole. Like, why the fuck wouldn't we? Okay. Wait, what? It's just the wall. Huh? This is different. Just this spot feels different than a normal wall. I wonder if... Oh. Okay. That was random. Like, I was just mashing A to see if, like, I don't know, he'd pick up something from the ground. Alright. I hear sounds. Does it mean there's something here? Anything else here? No. Spiral writing key? What? What is that? Spiral writing key. Key with slim 3-inch long cylinder attached. Cylinders engraved with spiral writing. This thou which leadeth thee to purgatory. Okay. Also, I noticed my light went off. Is this game fucking with me? Was that supposed to happen, or did it? There's so many bugs here to kill. Oh, it's locked. Should I be, like, killing them all? Like, what should I be doing at this point? Oh, there's a keypad? Oh, there it is. Dude, I don't know. Fucking. How am I supposed to know number? The keypad is slightly illuminated. Oh, I guess it's probably a combination of these three numbers. Because I'm gonna. So I probably have to do like a combination of these three. Yep. Let's do 3, 4. Nope. I could just look up the code. I don't even know if I'm like doing it right. Or it may not matter. It might be random. Or wait a minute, I could be doing this wrong. Okay, the entire here is slightly illuminated, but if you look closely, you'll see that 2 of 3 numbers are brighter than the others. It's mostly because they were pressed more recently. Recently, this means the numbers of in the code. Oh, never mind. So, okay, so what it's saying is that these are actually supposed to be dirty, despite the fact they look like I guess clean. I guess that makes sense, though. So it's supposed to be these that I'm supposed to be using. Or something, maybe. I don't know. So it might be random. Yeah, it might be random. Like what numbers it gives you. So, alright. So I gotta like figure this shit out myself. So... Or maybe like these are the numbers I'm supposed to use. I don't know. Let's fuck around and find out. Right? Oh, there we go. Yeah, I was right. The fuck? Oh, you're still dead. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I did something wrong. Is there a locked door I was supposed to go to? Wait, there's a locked gate? Wait, they mean this? No. It said there's a locked gate. Locked floor gate. Alright. Not here. Oh, okay. Am I actually supposed to select? Because I think... Okay, I was actually supposed to pick the key. Because I think sometimes, like, when you get a key to unlock the door, like he just does it by himself. But whatever. Of course, let's jump down another long hole, because, I mean, you know, it worked out well before, so, you know, let's just tempt fate again. Should be in the next area of the game.
Killing a person ain't no big deal. Just put the gun to their head. Pow. You killed him? But it wasn't my fault. He made me do it.
Calm down, Eddie. Tell me what happened.
That guy, he had it coming. I didn't do anything. He just came after me. Besides, he was making fun of me with his eyes, like that other one.
Just for that, you killed him?
What do you mean, just for that?
Eddie, you can't just kill someone because of the way they looked at you.
Oh yeah? Why not? Till now I always let people walk all over me. Just like that stupid dog. He had it coming too.
Eddie?
I was just joking, James. He was dead when I got here, honest. Anyway, I gotta run.
You're going out there alone?
Yeah.
Eddie?
Yeah. Spoiler, things aren't gonna end well for that guy. Is this the same spot? Oh no. Wait, Tablet of Gluttonous Pig? The fuck is that? Okay. Don't know what that's gonna be about. Oh, there's a safe spot. Alright, let me make sure there's nothing else in here. Looks like there might be something next to this dude. Oh no, it's a spoon. It's a fucking... It kind of, to be fair, it looked like a fucking key. But it was just a spoon. Anyways. Okay, is that something now? No, that's not anything. Alright, is there anything else to pick up in this room? No. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save it. And yeah, and then I think I'm gonna stop for now. I think maybe no. I think I played close to an hour, but not quite an hour. But we're in a whole new area. So, and it is getting late, so I don't want to start a new area, because if I start a new area, I'm gonna want to finish it. Like, and I think this is like one of the longer areas of the game, kind of like, doing the hospital. So, I'm going to stop for now, and I won't be able to come on tomorrow cuz I'm busy and I have plans. But I should be able to come on sometime on Saturday. So when I do, I'll go and I'll play through the prison, and if I and then we'll see if we get any more further than that. But at the very least, get through the prison. At this point of the game, I think I'm halfway ish into the game. Like, I might be halfway through because I got to the prison, or maybe I have to beat the prison to be halfway through. I don't think that's the case. I don't. Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I think I'm like halfway through the the game, like just by reaching the prison. So yeah, and also my computer did not go into hibernation mode this whole time. So yay, yay. Anyways, all right. So yeah, so like I said, this is where I call it a night. Um, we'll see how far we can get into this game over the weekend. As far as like Saturday and Sunday goes. I don't quite think I'll finish it, but should get pretty far into it, as long as do play. Like, I sit my ass down and I fucking play over the weekend. We should be able to finish the game soon. But yeah, so my schedule going forward after today is, tomorrow I'm busy. Saturday I should be able to stream. Sunday I should be able to stream. Because for right now, neither Saturday or Sunday, I have plans. That could easily change, but for right now, I do not have plans. Um, and then and then as far as next week goes, like Monday I should be free. Wednesday I should be free. And then next Friday, I don't think I'm doing anything next Friday. But that weekend, I'll probably be busy that Saturday. And then the following Sunday, maybe I'll stream. But it depends how I feel, because I have like a drinking thing to go to. And it's like, it's early too. Like, it starts at noon. But I don't know how I'm going to feel when I come back home. Like, I'll either feel like playing video games or being like, fuck it. Like, I don't want to do anything. But I'm pretty sure by then, like, definitely, like, I'm not gonna want to fucking play Silent Hill if I'm fucking inebriated. Um, but I think I should be done with Silent Hill by then, and then I gotta figure out what the fuck I'm playing next after Silent Hill. I'll probably finally get started on Mario RPG, maybe, 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 baby. Um, yeah, I think that might be the case. I think I might um finally get started on Mario RPG after I play some more Street Fighter. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, no. But I'm thinking like I should be done with this game by definitely before next week. I think I should be done. It's just a matter of like making sure like I fucking play. If I don't play, then of course I'm not gonna finish it. But I should have been done with this game a while ago. But yeah. Anywho, all right. So um tomorrow morning for me is a state of play. I'm gonna go. I'll watch it. Either I watch a bit during the morning while I'm getting ready for work, or I just wait till later to watch it. Um, and next time I stream, like, we'll talk about what they announce, so, or showed off. But anyways, all right. So have a good night, or whatever the fuck you're from, and hopefully see you next time. Later.